You're watching Taboo Tea with Katie, a space created to encourage honest exploration of topics we often avoid, whether with ourselves, our family, or within our community. This space isn't a replacement for therapy, but it is a tool for learning, reflection, and growth. My prayer is that you'll walk away with a clearer understanding of yourself, feel seen and supported, and leave with practical strategies to help you navigate whatever season you're in. All right, y'all. So today we're getting into something that might ruffle a couple of feathers, but it needs to be said. Therapy and prayer are not enemies, they're teammates. So you don't have to pick one like you're choosing sides in a custody battle. There's room for both on your healing journey. And I'll sip to that one. Now, I grew up in the Baptist church. So trust me when I say I know all about that just pray about it life. But what I've also encountered is the belief that if you are a believer, you shouldn't be seeking therapy, like it's a betrayal of faith or something. But let's be real. Asking for help is not a sign of weak faith. It's a sign of wisdom. You wouldn't tell someone with a broken leg to just pray about it. You'd send them to the doctor as soon as possible. The same way God blessed us with doctors for our bodies, He blessed us with therapists for our minds. And let's not act brand new. A lot of the fear around therapy didn't just fall out of the sky. There's a very real history behind where there is so much mistrust in the healthcare system. But therapy, it ain't your enemy. Mental health care isn't some new age witchcraft. And for all the saints that love to say, don't tell your business to people who got their own problems, ma'am, you also have problems. That's why you and Miss Barbara can't get along now. You can pray and talk to a therapist. You can take it to God and take it to somebody with clinical training. Both can exist at the same time without Jesus catching an attitude. Now, this doesn't downplay the power of prayer, because prayer is actually important in mental health. It's not just your emergency hotline when things are falling apart. It's your daily connection to peace, strength, and God's voice when yours is too shaky to speak. And there are scriptures that support that as well. Philippians 4:6-7 says not to be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer and petition and thanksgiving to present our requests to God, so that the peace that transcends all understanding will guard our hearts and minds. So God never said you can't have feelings. He just said bring them to Him. He's not allergic to your anxiety, your sadness, or your anger. And I know this concept is something I personally struggle with because I don't want God to see me as weak. But that's the whole point. Prayer lets you lay down your burdens without pretending they don't exist. Also, God is not a genie. He's not sitting there like, oh, they've asked me 3 times. I guess I gotta go now. It's about relationship, not magic tricks. Now let's talk about therapy. Therapy is like getting your oil changed before your car starts smoking on the highway. It gives you tools, not just vibes and phrases to put on t-shirts and in memes, which I might actually do. It helps you unpack the trauma, rethink the lies you believed about yourself, and build coping skills that don't involve crashing out on everybody. It doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're wise. It means you recognize that yes, you love God, and yes, you also have unresolved trauma that's not going to magically disappear after a 10-minute altar call. And honestly, half the people telling you therapy is for the weak haven't processed a single feeling since juvenile took over for the 9/9 in 2000. Prayer grounds you spiritually. Therapy grounds you emotionally and mentally. One doesn't cancel out the other. It's not therapy versus prayer. It's therapy and prayer. A tag team match, not a fight night. So, here's an example of what it would look like to combine both. Let's say you're struggling with a huge decision and it's causing major anxiety. Like you can't sleep, you're overthinking everything, you feel like you're drowning in your own thoughts. You pray. You pour your heart out to God. You ask for peace. You ask for guidance. You cry until you have nothing left. And in that moment, prayer does give you peace. You feel heard. You feel held. But guess what? The anxiety doesn't just vanish because God isn't a magician, He's a healer. And healing comes with action. So you schedule a therapy session. And in therapy, you start learning about what's triggering that anxiety. You get actual coping skills like breathing exercises, grounding techniques, and you learn or role play setting boundaries with people who might be stressing you out. And when you leave therapy, you go back to God in prayer and ask Him to help you apply what you've learned, to strengthen you when it gets hard, and to keep you grounded when it feels like you're slipping. That is how you combine therapy and prayer. Prayer gives you the spiritual fuel, therapy gives you the practical tools, and together they're like a holy tag team, body slamming your anxiety into the ground. God is not mad at you for going to therapy. If anything, He's probably relieved you're finally getting some help so He doesn't have to keep sending you the same lessons in different outfits. You may be out here praying for peace, but in refusing to go to therapy to unpack the chaos, you just keep choosing it. Meanwhile, God is like, baby, please go see the lady. So the takeaway here is that there is room for the both. And therapy and prayer are not enemies. They're both necessary parts of the healing journey and your journey towards wholeness. Prayer helps you with your spiritual growth, while therapy helps you grow emotionally and mentally. And if you're still wondering if it's okay to have Jesus and a therapist, it's not just okay, it's smart. You deserve to heal fully, not halfway, not surface level, but for real. Let God guide your heart and let therapy help you guide your mind. That's a winning combo. And at the end of the day, it's still God doing the healing. He's just using more than one tool. So, at some point this week, take a moment to reflect on one area of your life where you've been struggling to balance prayer and therapy, and try to invite both into that space. And then take one situation that's weighing on you, pray about it, schedule a therapy session, or identify a step you can take to address it, like journaling, for instance. Let both work together for your healing. So, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions or want to chat further, please use the link in the show description to get in touch with your girl. Leave a comment if there are topics that you want to see discussed, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes of Taboo Tea. Till next time.